Greetings, everybody. I'm up in the Rocky Mountains here today. Just wanted to share a few thoughts with you on contentment. And the Latin root of the word contentment comes from the word that means held together. So being content is a peaceful feeling that my life is in a healthy containment. And it doesn't always mean that I'll be comfortable, of course, but in the midst of whatever adversity I'm in, I can find a place of peace with the Lord. So about a year and a half ago, I resigned from a ministry role that I had been in for 17 years. Basically, the ministry kind of imploded, long story, but hundreds of staff members and former staff members just really had a lot of trauma and stuff they had to work through. And during those months, I felt like anything but held together. And one of my favorite quotes is from a guy named Oswald Chambers, who said that what we call the process, God calls the end. So my overwhelming circumstances that I was going through did not disrupt God's storyline in my life at all, because He's all about the process. And what we call the process, He calls the end. So, of course, we are going from point A to point B, and there will be like celebrations along the way. But it's dangerous to have that, if-then thinking, like, once things change for me, I can be content or I can have victory. Because we can really have it all along the way with the Lord's presence and strength. A guy named Dan Allender wrote this: if God's goodness is looked for primarily in terms of events, then the verdict of His heart towards us will always hang on the arrival of a new set of facts. Dangerous place to be sometimes. I've been caught in this loop before, and it's not fun. Kind of put your life on hold, and you miss a lot of what you could be receiving from the Holy Spirit. So we want to live in the present, and but circumstances do have a way of affecting us, of course. Thinking of the disciples crossing the lake. Remember, they had forgot to bring bread, and they were all distressed, and Jesus reminded them about the feeding of the 5,000 and the 4,000, and He said, don't you understand yet? And I found that our felt needs have a way of affecting our spiritual memory. And so we need to stay consecrated, especially in times of testing. It's really vital, and but understandably so. When it's really, really intense and troublesome, we need to get help, maybe therapy, counseling, prayer with a friend, etc. Another parable that I really want to share today briefly was the workers in the vineyard. Remember that one? Basically, the landowner hires workers for his field, promising them all the same daily wage, like here's what you're going to get paid to work. So those who worked all day felt like they should be paid more than those that worked less time. And the landowner said, take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be first, and the first will be last. So the generosity and goodness of God cannot be precisely predicted, because we want to feel content in life, of course, but we'll most likely find ourselves in both groups of workers at different times. There's times we'll be overcome by the favor of God, and other times we're battling comparison because we're working so hard and so long, and we're not getting the breakthrough other people are getting. So we're going to be in both groups of workers at different times in our lives. Another quote that I like is from David Wilkerson. When God calls you to something, He's not always calling you to succeed, He's calling you to obey. The success of the calling is up to Him, the obedience is up to you. So, transition is a part of life as much as gravity is. It's just going to happen, it's going to be there. And I'm about a year and a half beyond the traumatic transition I went through about a year and a half ago, as I mentioned, at the age of 70, unplanned transition in my life. So endings are going to come, new beginnings are going to come. And remember the Latin root of the word contentment, held together. Everything's being contained, managed, and eventually positively orchestrated by God. So I want to finish with one more quote from a friend of ours and one of our favorite authors, Sara Hagerty, a book that really was like a life vest for me in my troublesome transition of a year and a half ago. The book's called The Gift of Limitations, Finding Beauty in Your Boundaries. And this quote, "The orchestra of trust grows one instrument at a time. It happens over decades, a lifetime, not over the days or months we are so accustomed to measuring." So where are you today in your story? Perhaps you're completely settled and content. You can pass this on to somebody else maybe that needs to hear it. Maybe you're in transition, trying to navigate a in-between season of life. Maybe something with finances, relationships, emotional stress, career choices, spiritual boredom. So I just want to pray a quick prayer for you from up in the mountains today, that wherever you are in your journey, that you would be strengthened by His grace, and know that it says in Colossians chapter 1 that all things have been created through Him and for Him. He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. So your life today is in a place of containment. You are being held in His embrace. God bless you.